Yeah.
What is your purpose?
So my purpose is another one that I think we try to put these things in boxes because it makes us feel in control, because it's scary not to be in control if we're not in someone bigger who is definitely in control. And that's the point. It's to do with faith, really. And if we don't feel in control, what we do is we make things, let me box that up. So now I know where it belongs. I know what I'm doing. And the truth is, none of us know what we're doing. The first time round, none of us know what we're doing. We're all making it up as we go along. We're all thinking, I hope this works, and I'm going to step out and I'm going to see. And that's all of us, not Christians, everyone. But everybody has to put on this front that, I've got it. I've got it going on. I know what I'm doing. It's like, no, you don't. No one knows what they're doing. So I think my purpose is a lot of things. You know, you could say I'm a wife. As a wife, my purpose is to try to help my husband grow. But, you know, if someone won't receive what you've got for them, it limits your ability to bring what you've got. As a mother, my purpose is to help my children grow into the person they are in the Lord, but they've got to accept what I've got to offer. And children, you know, they don't want to. They don't want to listen. They don't, you know, you get a lot of stick from your kids when you're, well, I must speak for myself. My kids have given me a lot of stick around my faith. You know, well, Mum, why do you have to make everything so spiritual? Why is everything so holy? You know, if they have a problem and they ask me, what can I do? I say, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we pray? And that's not me being super spiritual. It's like when they tell me their problems, I don't know what the answer is. I haven't got a clue.
I say that to my children all the time. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been a parent before.
Exactly.
There's no manual. There's no instruction of how to be an amazing mum.
No.
And even this, we was having a little talk about this earlier, but my perception of or my understanding of what I think a perfect mum is may not be the same as what my child thinks.
Exactly.
I've got 3.
Yeah.
And they're all different.
Yeah.
So what constitutes a really amazing mum to Riley is different from what Ray needs.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So it's... To Roman, let me not leave him out, because then when he watches it, he'll be like, well, you didn't say my name. Yeah. But yeah, so, you know, I think about myself and my relationship with my mum, and I look at how my brother perceives her or interacts with her. It's so different because of how we are innately. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the purpose thing is quite a difficult one, because it's like, I feel that my purpose is to stay in line in all the roles that God's given me. So as a wife, you know, one of the other ways I think we fail people is that in the church, we're not honest enough about how hard marriage is. Marriage is so hard. 2 people, 2 broken people, even though people don't like the word broken, but
it is.
We are broken.
Exactly, yeah.
And we come together and we're trying to do this thing, and it's so hard.
Yeah.
And we hurt each other all the time. And, you know, it's so easy, if somebody hurts you, to think you get let off of what God's called you to. You know, God's called me to be a wife, and there's certain things he's asked of me. And sometimes my husband makes doing those things quite difficult. Just like I'm sure I make it difficult for him to be the husband that God has asked him to be. And if we just think, well, you know what, I've got an out now. He's not doing his bit. Well, I don't have to do my bit. It's that thing, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Someone's got to listen. And at different moments, maybe you hope they're listening when you're not. When you're being rebellious, you hope they're not. And when they are, you're not. Hopefully that, you know, that's what you hope's going on. So that's, you know, that's in marriage. But with parenting, you know, we're sent on such a guilt trip. There is no perfect parent except God himself. And we do the best we can with what we've got. And I know that's not popular anymore, that idea. It's like it's given us an out. But it's the truth.
No, it really is.
I gave my children the absolute best I had. And I know it wasn't good enough because I didn't get what I needed. And you can't just, you know, we all got dealt something, and now we've got to make the best of what we've got. When we're adults, we have to do the work to get free of the mistakes of other people, the sin of other people. Because usually the most damage done to us is our sinful response to sin against us.
Wow.
Because the sin is long gone. But it's like, what did you do with what they did? So if you get bitter, you know, you hurt yourself much more than the person who did whatever they did to make you bitter. Yeah, if you won't forgive, that person ends up hurting you for years and years and years, because you think about it all the time. The person probably never even thinks about that crime. But you do. So you're stuck in this place. So for me, purpose is really allowing God to show me, in this role, this is what I call you to. In this role, this is what I call you to. In this role, this is what I call you to. And so I love, again, that bit from Micah. I think it's Micah 6. I told you I'm not good with addresses. But where God makes it so crystal clear. He's the prophet saying, God has already told you what's good. To act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. All right? Love mercy, act justly. Act justly. Love mercy, and walk humbly.
Yeah.
And believe in the one he sent. Okay. That's really simple. It's not easy, but it's really simple. It's right in front of your face. So then I could take that into every role and say, am I fulfilling this? Am I acting justly? Am I loving mercy? Am I walking humbly? And am I believing in the one he sent? Is, what did Jesus say to do in this situation? That's, you know, when I'm anxious, when I don't know what to do, what do I do? Well, don't be anxious. Don't be anxious. What do I do instead? Do not be anxious, but in everything with prayer and petition, present your requests. Everything's covered. He's covered everything. So I look at it like that. But in terms of my job, if you like, what I do in the world, how I bring my ministry to the world, I think at the moment, my public speaking is taking centre stage. Yeah. Because I think you sort of wear hats for a while. And, you know, like now you've got your kids at home still. Mine are grown up and they're gone. So I'm still a mother and I always will be, but my role now, that role is very different now. But my public speaking is the place where God is using me to really be his advocate. You know, I come into relationship with people and I think my role is to help them find their route to freedom. God wants us to be free. Yeah. He doesn't want the enemy to keep us in pain. He wants people to learn the truth of how they make the best of this life and make their way back to him. How do they come back into relationship? And if they don't know, someone has got to tell them, show them. And that's our job, because we do know. And we also know that it's a hard road. Yes. And it's a hard route to find. It doesn't, you know, it's not all laid out. It's not like the yellow brick road and it opens really up in front of you. You have to do a lot of searching. But I think a big thing in the world is that people are looking for healing. People want to be whole. People are searching for that. And they try all different kinds of things to get it. And a lot of the things they try actually break them more, hurt them more, damage them more. And the other thing I feel is that we are damaged and we are failed in relationship. And God uses relationship to heal us. And so I think my job is really about helping people to understand themselves, helping people to start a relationship with themselves, because it's the most wasted human relationship on earth. Most people do not know themselves. They don't even think about themselves in the right way. They'll be selfish and think about themselves, but not in a way that's useful. Yes. You know, so if you say to someone, you'll find someone who's got lots of compassion for everybody else, but not them. If they do something stupid, the things they say to themselves, oh, you're such a silly cow, why did you do that? What's the matter with you? They would never say that to their friend. No. But we have never really understood that we actually are made in the image of God. God is relational. Yes. Father, Son, Spirit. He is triune. So are we. We are body, soul, and spirit. Okay? Our relationships are triune. And the first one is this one. most people never ever think about this one. And so, we spoke again before we started about, we can have an idea of our lives, our story, and then someone asks us the right question, or someone says something and it makes us think, and then we unpack it and we think, actually, my childhood weren't great because this happened and that happened and that happened and that happened. And the reason that happens is because as children, we don't have the tools to process those huge moments. So we just bury them.
Yeah.
And we concoct a narrative that makes it make sense. And when we're children, the one narrative that cannot be is that our parents are bad, that our parents are not trustworthy, that our parents are not safe. So what we do is we'll flip it and it'll be, I'm a bad girl. If I had been better, mummy wouldn't have shouted. If I wasn't like this, that wouldn't happen. Because then our world feels safer. But as we get older and we become adults, it's our responsibility to look at it honestly and say, you know what? My parents did this, or my parents, that was wrong. And now I'm going to unpack it, and now I'm going to look at it, and now I'm going to process it. And that can lead to a lot of very angry feelings towards our parents. And in my work, what I find is people have either gone so far the other way, they hate their parents, have written them off, don't want to know ever again, can't forgive, or they've painted this lovely rosy picture and everything was brilliant, and both of those things are unhealthy. Because what we really need to do is do the work to look at our childhood, look at our lives, face the truth, and then do the work. And it's really hard work to come to the point of where we are going to forgive.
Yes.
And it's costly and it's time consuming. And so when people work with me, I think they get great transformations because they're unpacking stories that they've left dormant for years. And all the answers they're looking for to heal are in those stories. So they have to go there. And it's painful. And lots of people don't want to do painful things. But if you don't do painful things, that you either get a tsunami of pain or you get death by 1,000 cuts, which is what most people choose. They live their lives in pain instead of going, I've got to face this, I need to deal with this, I need to unpack it, and I need to do whatever I've got to do to see my parents as people just like me. They had parents who failed them, and come full circle. We're all in need of mercy. Mercy. And God says, it's a very sobering thought, you get forgiven to the degree that you forgive.
Boy.
That is serious stuff.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very serious.
The measure you use will be used. Okay. And you know what we love to do as humans? We like to choose justice for everyone else. I want you did that wrong. You need to pay. You need to understand what you did to me. And we want mercy for us. But the thing about God is he's really fair, and you get to choose, but you choose the standard for everyone, including yourself. So you either choose judgment or you choose mercy, and that's the deal. And you need mercy, so you better choose it.
Thank you. I feel like you're just like, God, I only came to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm being attacked here. No, I'm joking. But it's...
Well, I was talking to me as well.
No, listen, I always watch this back as well, but I'm not, like, it's not you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I'm just
us
listening and receiving, and it's like, okay.
Because mercy is that thing, if you understand it, you have to understand it in context to you before you can fully give it. Because, whenever I'm tempted to not forgive someone, that's what slaps me up the head, like you just said. It's like, yeah, Jade, you really want to do that? Yeah. Because you know what that means, don't you, Jade? And then I'm like, yeah, no, we ain't going there. Yes. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to forgive. Give me a minute. I'm going to do it. Because I can't afford God to judge me. I'll be in serious trouble if God decides to judge me. So I'm not bringing that down on my head.
Yeah.
That is it's a great motivator.
Yes. I'm just sitting here like, whoa. I lost all trail of understanding. I got the questions here, and I'm still like, it's just like things are just ringing in my mind, in my head. So this is like extremely deep. Purpose is deep.
Yeah.
Just hearing it on different. And you imagine I've had this conversation hundreds of times.
Yeah.
But yet something different comes out of the same questions. And that's why I've been adamant to keep the same questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, we could have a conversation and it can go wherever. But the fact that the template and the structure is the same, but then something different comes out of it completely.
Yeah.
I just find, I don't want to use the same word again, but I do find it profound. I just find it like absolutely wow.
But if you think of who we're serving, who we're talking about, of course, we'll never get to the end of the layers.
No.
Of him. We're trying to know God, this holy God, this infinite God. So, we're talking about him. Purpose comes from him.
Yes.
So I guess, and we are all unique beings. Our relationship with him is unique.
That is very true.
It's unending. It's not, in terms of purpose, he designed each of us with a purpose in mind. But ultimately for the Christian, another thing we haven't mentioned yet is that you're on earth to be made into the likeness of Christ. That's your purpose. All these things that are coming at us every day, all these things that we want him to take away. I don't want to suffer. But that's your furnace. That's how are you going to be refined?
That is so true,
Life is your refining. These things, the struggles, the pains, the hurts, the challenges, they are they're gifts God uses to redefine you, reshape you, for you to understand the state of your heart. He shows us, this is what you're like still. We got a bit of work to do here, Jade, in this area or this area. Or, so the Christian's purpose is to be transformed into the likeness of Christ, because we're the bride of Christ and God's getting us ready for himself.
That is very deep. But I am, just sitting here, just in awe of how God can use a conversation to just, there's so much to unpack from this little, and we're only on question 2.